Danil. He says it like it is, and we love him for it. He's still a bartender, a consultant, a vagabond, an expat professionally, a family man, an entrepreneur, the founder and CEO of Indie Bartender, wherever he is, there he is, and to many, simply Cocktail Man. In 2024, he was named International Bar Mentor of the Year at Tales of the Cocktail. According to Bar World 100, he's consistently ranked among the most influential people.
It is.
Yeah, but honestly, no list of awards could help. I guess what I'll do is, I'll cut it short for you. I wrote you a poem. I look forward to the day when I'm old and grey and Danil will say, let's play dominoes today.
Ah!
Somebody wants to be top 100. All right, here we go. There's things in my hand.
Take the card. It's yours, because I wrote more on there, so.
That is not what it says on your card. Thank you so much. All right, how are you guys doing? Welcome. That's my face. Perfect. We have had a long day. Hey, how about them apples? And I'm sweating my ass off now. Like Remy mentioned, we had a lot of things to cover. One of the key kind of briefs that he gave us was, here's 3 drinks from the Savoy book, and we're going to do past, present, and future. And the best thing about being the future is that, A, nobody can predict it, so everything I say can be wrong, and it's absolutely okay. I can literally bullshit you all day, and it's perfectly fine. And that's what I'm going to do, right? So that is the pretext of today. Welcome to the Jameson's Global Summit, also known as the University of Remy Savage. Just nepotism and friends. This is me. Anyway, so the way I approached this brief was a little bit different, right? First of all, because I am professionally stupid. And so what I do is I take all the things that Remy says and I try and make them as if I was talking to a 5-year-old as opposed to his exact brief. And I try and break them down for myself because I get confused. You know, I like coffee for the function and the diarrhea. I don't like it for, those passion fruit notes that you find in it, you bunch of wankers. The natural wine, bollocks, just tastes like cider to me. So I try and make things digestible for people like myself. Because apparently people are mostly stupid, so that means if I'm stupid, I can talk to people, as opposed to being philosophizing about whatever the hell he's talking about. So, disclaimer. Nobody can actually predict the future. I think there was a specific statistic that came out that we can only predict the weather with all of our technologies and all of our AI up to 60% within the next 2 weeks. I'm pretty much convinced that everyone here who's over the age of 24 lived through COVID and all the other bullshit that's going around the world right now, and nobody could have predicted that. So, as a result, I like to be an agent of chaos, and I really don't care about the past, even though I respect it. Because I have no other choice, right? I feel like I get excited by what people are doing. I believe that there's a reason why you hear all about the greats, Hindsight's a bitch. Right? Everything makes sense when you project your own smartness and your own brains to the way things were at some point. And yet morals changed, our behaviors changed, our spirits changed, blah, 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 blah. So I get more excited about what young bartenders are doing and what new ideas are coming, as opposed to focusing on someone's success story in the 1950s, right? Or, is that a date? That's a date. Anyway, so nobody can actually predict the future. Even though I am doing the future element of today's talk, the point of it is these are things that are going on right now that are future grasping. And I believe, kind of like Loki in that TV show about time and blah, blah, I spit a lot. You can also spit back. I like that.
It's a sling.
Matriz de lápiz. Anyway. So, the context. We are talking about cocktails. We picked 3 drinks. And I believe since there is the classic era, then there's the era of equipment, aka Remy. And there is, I believe, the new era is the era of tech. Because realistically speaking, nowadays, this thing, we've all lived through it, has completely drastically changed our lives. From the millions of apps, from Beach Bum Berry's Tiki app or the PDT app, we can access the classics, we can access the historical footnotes, we can scroll to the different versions. You were talking about which drink was right. You download Beach Bum Berry's app and it tells you the 5 versions of that drink and how it's evolved, right? So you're hyper-informed. Next time you're going to come into my bar and order a Widow's Kiss and I'll spit in your face. We'll open the app and then we'll pick the one that we want to play with, right? Because which one is right? So that's what I'm going to focus on. I'm going to focus on tech, and that's what I've been doing. Remy earlier on spent the entire time humble bragging about how he's not qualified to do anything. That is bollocks, right? I believe that this whole idea that we're always going on about imposter syndrome, while it is genuinely a thing, if you've really spent a lot of time and love into learning something, whether it's a side quest such as photography, whether it's bartending or knowledge or road of apps and just staring at them spin, you've definitely gained some sort of experience doing the thing. Have a bit of pride. I want you all to be more empowered in terms of loving yourself. Because if you've given actual effort into this and you've spent time into this, you've experienced something, you've learned something, you don't need to sit there and always try and do the American Idol bollocks when you go on stage and you're like, oh, my life is so hard, and then give me an award. And we are great. We do a lot of hard work. Our life is tough, and yet we power fucking through, and here we are today. Everyone here who's done the video challenge or found a way to be here, you're here for a reason. Pat yourself on the back. Well done. And so while this all might seem a little bit scary, I believe the era of tech is an accelerator, right? All the things that are happening right now are accelerators. I'm looking forward to what younger bartenders are going to come up with, what cool new ideas are going to come out with, because otherwise I'm going to just talk to Remy about stupid philosophy that I don't agree with him for the next 15 years of bar shows. How boring is that? Anyway, so context and purpose, 3 drinks, whatever, image, next stuff. Well, it's right in front of me. I don't know what I'm doing. So the era of tech. I have kind of broken down. There's a lot of things going on in tech right now. I broke down this thing into 4 major pillars. Yeah, taking that from the Indra book of presentations. A, artificial intelligence. Well, 1. 2, if it loads on there, then it loads on here. This is so confusing. Crypto, that old scam, money laundering 101. AR, VR, right? So this whole Oculus Rift stuff. And finally, robotics and automation, right? I believe that those 4 pillars, amongst the many, many pillars of technology, are things that we are seeing being actively used in the industry today from many different sources. I have personally used AI in some way or form in my business for the last 1.5 to 2 years. When me and Jan did a project together about the Indie Bartender Fund, one of our 4 different challenges was people had to create a concept for a bar, and then we used AI to create that concept, and we judged them based on the prompts and the concept they created. Maybe 400 bars to judge. You haven't opened one of them yet. I was hoping, that was a good, steal some. Never mind. So, whilst I do not believe that I'm necessarily qualified per se to talk about this thing, but nobody is unless you're Sam Altman or Zuckerberg or one of those guys who've invested in it. Definitely not Elon Musk. No Roman salute today. The point of this is that I have spent, besides using AI for the last 1.5 years, the last 4 months, I've been working directly with an American company called Neat AI, who's helped me today to do all this research. And we've got a very special surprise for you later on, which we'll reveal at the grand finale. And they've helped me completely free of charge because one of the people working for them was an ex-bartender from Lost and Found in Cyprus. And he's been working on this as a side quest. His name is Andreas. We have a little thank you to him later. And he's helped us develop all the imagery for all of the things we're doing today. And I'm going to talk about all the things that he's helped me that could help you, right? So I'm talking from experience as opposed to in the position of an expert. I'm talking from the position of an idiot who likes to ask questions and then explain it in a normal way. Cool? Would you like to be stupid with me? Perfect. So first and foremost, our first pillar, artificial intelligence. I'm pretty sure, can you please raise your hand if you have Grok, if you have ChatGPT, if you use any one of these things, or you have the app on your phone. Cool, cool, cool. So this point, I think pretty much everyone here has used this in some way or form, right? So I believe these are the things that are most important, especially in this case, I was specifically focusing on ChatGPT. I believe these are the things that AI can help you with. It is a tool. The key thing, from cocktail creation to ingredient research, to flavor pairings, to equipment usage guides. But the point of it is, it's an expansion of your mind. It's like creatine for you gym bros out there, right? It's going to teach you new things if you ask the right questions, but it will never replace you. The idea that AI is going to replace you, while is a smart thing to say or think about, nowadays there's been different legislation made in that something human made will create more value. While we have AI that will create functional help, the experience of human experience will only end up becoming more important and more valuable as a result, right? You already hate the fact that when you have a problem, you sign into an automatic chatbot and you can't talk to a person about your problem. You can't describe it. So let's talk about it. Expanding your mind. Because for me, AI expanded my mind. Click things. Right. I am dumb. This is my brain. This is my intelligence level. I can't remember anything. Me and Kat spoke about a drink, and I was like, I can't remember this drink. And I forget it tomorrow the moment I use the app, because I am doom scrolling all the time. So for me, AI expands my mind. What do I mean by this? You're going to go through an idiot's guide to my mind. And that is, click again. Oh, I can't figure this out. My brain before working with AI, memes. And then my brain after. Yes, look at this. Whoa, it moves. So all I asked AI in Midjourney in this case was like, can you do like a my brain on AI? It showed me this and then it animated the fucker. This whole thing took me 20 minutes, right? And I'm going to explain to you the prompts I used to get there and also how this can refer to things that you're doing in the bar world. So, ChatGPT, era of tech, artificial intelligence, let's go. Cool? Fantastic. I can't, this doesn't work.
Technology.
Why is it? I can't handle this thing. I'm dumb. I'm stupid. Everybody's Irish. The first drink that we are going to handle, and we're going to talk to AI about it. So, the prompt, the basic prompt, the dumb prompt, stupid man prompt. Do you know the cocktail called the Everybody's Irish? Booyakasha. The jungle is massive. Classic Savoy spec. That's a very English thing. Classic Savoy spec, 1930. Here you go, here you go, here you go. But wait a minute. 1 ounce of Irish whiskey, 1 green chartreuse, 1 ounce of creme de menthe. Is that the original spec? Bollocks. So the AI is an idiot. Sam Altman, what a waste of time. Modern version, here you go. So my prompt was something like this. And if I was someone who's not going to double check his own work, I could go with this and make a terrible drink, correct? Cool. Basic prompt, while the history is correct, roughly more or less, right? It's the wrong recipe, and the spec suggestion it gives me is like questionable at best, right? So this is me as a dumb Dan trying to find out what's going on. Now, let's move on to a different prompt. According to my Savoy cocktail book, the spec is XYZ. Oh, you're spot on. That's exactly what's printed in the Savoy, even though it just told me a completely different thing. Here you go. Here's what it said. So suddenly there's a link to a reference, right? Helpful notes. This is what green mint might mean, even though it just says green mint. Here's what the book says shake. Lots of us still do it today, but silkier, clearer, whatever, right? So the point is, if you are going to research anything in ChatGPT, A, ask for references. B, ask to double check your work. And one of my favorites is, give me different versions of the story based on like links. Because then you might have ChatGPT has an existential crisis, and then there's like bipolar disorder inside it and hallucination, and it just comes up with stuff. Now, this follow-up question, based on a physical book that I have, means that suddenly I got the actual correct history, I got references to said prompt, and I got a converted spec from dashes or shillings or ounces or, for Americans, what the fuck is a kilometer? You see what I'm saying? Whilst the first prompt was one thing, the follow-up was different. I got better information, more clear information. You are having a dialogue with something that is as clueless as you are. It's not going to solve any of your problems, but it will guide you if you ask the correct questions. So, what should we do with this? Oh, no. Come back. Oh.
The era of technology with Danil Nevsky.
There you go. So the original, according to this, is 60 ml of Irish whiskey, 5 ml of green chartreuse, 2.5 of green creme de menthe, shake per Savoy, and strain, add a green olive. Then I asked ChatGPT to balance this cocktail, and it thought, love it, here are tight modern riffs to keep the DNA. Why is it like a 90s Limp Bizkit? Irish chartreuse, mint, but rein in the sugar and neon. So clear, rein in the sugar and neon. Balanced. So it went from 5 ml of chartreuse to 15, reining in that sugar, and then reining in that neon, 2.5 ml of creme de menthe to 7.5 ml of creme de menthe. And then a dash of saline. It's like every other mixologist in 24 years old. Saline solution. I'm sorry, stop putting saline on your menus as a descriptor. You don't say carbonara, pepper and salt. Saline is disgusting. Moist, disgusting. Saline, disgusting. Like, just stop. Anyway, shake hard, then straight into a coupe, express lemon, peel, discard. Can please everybody bring out the balanced mouthwash? You've had good drinks. You've had this fancy whiskey, you've had good drinks. You're about to get blasted. Only shit drinks to finish the day. No, I'm fine. I'm okay. Everybody, the ChatGPT, everybody's Irish. It tastes worse than it smells. The aroma is worse. Oh, look at that. Look at the color on that. How delicious. Listerine Plus. Please taste this world's worst. How do you feel? Do you feel 18 again at Hard Rock Cafe with like a menthol shooter? Mwah. Right? You like it? Stop opening bars. So, AI is a tool. If you are a tool and you can't look at a recipe and go, that's awful, what you're saying, and you just blindly follow, you'll be blindly follow it to Terminator 2, Skynet, and the end of the world, right? You still need humanity. It can't taste, it doesn't have a clue what it's doing. Does anybody actually like the flavor of this mouthwash? I feel like this is the worst ROI on... This is the problem with your staff. Like, they're all fired. Did you genuinely... Don't give me... You genuinely like this? Okay. But see what I mean? Right? Okay, did anybody like this? Please raise your hand. The fucking nerd did, didn't he? The fucking... Savoy wanker is... Right. She's going to send you so many invoices. Yes.
I guess ask ChatGPT, your rum is savage. How would you fix that brew?
What did it say?
35 ml Irish, 15 chartreuse, and 10 clear mid distillates. And 2 dashes of savage.
You're fine. Saline Savage over here. So there you go. ChatGPT, savior of the universe, Saline Savage, eat your heart out. Bollocks. Right, moving on. So, it does not work. So if you want to ever actually correctly prompt AI, here is how I suggest to do it. And please, please, please still double, triple check your answers. Brief, context, details, and task, right? You need to give AI a specific goal. What goal are you trying to achieve? What is the context of the situation? You need to create constraints within the sandbox that it needs to play by. You need to ask for a specific output formula. How do you want to see the results presented, right? And you need to give it success criteria if you understand them, right? I am doing research on the Everybody Challenge cocktail from the Savoy Cocktail book. Cool. That is my brief to AI. Context, I find the original cocktail unbalanced, and I want to create a modern riff that is more applicable to the current palate. Additional details. All measurements must be in the metric system. Ounces eat your heart out. I want you to reference your research. Give me references to why you do anything that you're trying to do here. Give explanations for your results. Give justifications, right? You can give multiple results instead of giving me give me more than one option, right? Use whatever modern bartending techniques you feel are necessary. Therefore, I'm creating it a different path that it can take. Your task, analyze the original spec and give suggestions for a more balanced modern version of the cocktail. So I'm repeating kind of the brief. So I got like 7 different versions of what was going on. But one of my favorites, which we're not going to taste because whatever, is everybody's olive old-fashioned, olive oil fat-washed, silky, minimal sugar. Uses fat washing to make the olive note integral instead of the garnish because the original mouthwash one has an olive note. And it tells me how to properly oil fat wash. It gives me the built drink, and it gives me things that kind of make a lot more sense than the mouthwash we has fucking saline. But does that look more like something that Remy would do? Right? What would Remy do, Maria? That sounds like... it's a reference to your tattoo. So, fat washing, modern technique. It used something that I suggested to it. There's a spec rebalance that makes more sense. Saline. It's given me different options. This is one of 7 options it gave me. And it specifically addresses something like the garnish, which made it no sense, right? Now, you don't have to, like I've tried this, it's okay. But the point is, it's triggering creativity. It's letting you go somewhere. From that moment, you can use all the knowledge and experience you have individually. You can adapt it to geographically, culturally, to your concept, right? Whatever it can be. But suddenly it's helping you expand. Because I'm sorry, this idea that we can turn on creativity with a button and suddenly come up with 15 different versions of something is ridiculous. The idea that depending on so many factors of yourself as a human being, whatever, your age, your state of mind, the time of the day, how long you've worked that week, can be all things that that affect your creative output, right? And sometimes, I think one of the funniest things was like, you have sports people who have like lucky charms or like different rituals they do to perform the best. I feel like sometimes people are the same. I need to have slept so much, I need to be in this particular mood, then I can output. A lot of authors or writers would be like, what's the name of the guy? Hunter S. Thompson, 4 grams of cocaine, like LSD, champagne. Have you heard about his daily ritual? There's like a drum and bass song to this. And then he starts to write at 3 a.m. Like mad. You get what I'm saying? The point of AI is to be a tool that accelerates things as opposed to being something to replace you. It's just a modern digital genocide. It'll just replace the people who are stupid. Don't live stream that. But what was interesting in this, and actually we messaged about this, is the whole idea of fat washing. I don't know about you. I think fat washing is so weird because I'm stupid. So I always found like here's a question. Interactivity. Tony wanted that. Where is he, Tony? Tony? How much fat do you put in a fat wash? Like, can anybody? This is like, I'm dumb. How much? A liter of 40% vodka. Why? Anyone have an alternative number? Okay. Yes, what? What number? Yes, I project. Yes. I don't like this guy. Come on, Slovakia. Show us your chops. What? What's the number? How much percent of fat? 2%. Up to 2%. So you just whatever. 1 kilogram of butter, 20 grams. Who gives a shit? That doesn't matter. 20 euro. GP. I can do it because I'm one of him. Yeah? My husband. Right. So, okay, we've got whatever. Never getting a fat wash drink from you, by the way. Just consistency is Not happening. You got 30%. 10%. Because I told you this. Yes, I did, because you're ruining my next slide. Right. So I was like, how much fat do you use in a fat wash? Can you explain this to me? I am not qualified. Like Remy says, I'm not smart enough. I'm not a chemist. I'm not a scientist. I only eat fat and generate it in my body. I don't know what are we talking about here. So, boom. Like, quick question, because it said olive oil fat wash. I'm experimenting with fat washing. Yeah, I want to use a 40% spirit. I'm currently using 700 grams of spirits, and I'm 70 grams of brown butter, 10%. Cheater. I'm trying to find the connection between infusion of fat flavor with the spirit. I don't know this. I'm not a scientist. My variables are time, temperature, and how much butter I'm using, which is logical, right? I'm trying to figure out, is there a flavor saturation point where, like, there's no point using more butter because there's no more oil to bind with the spirit. So, for example, maybe there's a finite number of oils that can bond, blah, 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 blah. Please think hard. And let me know your hypothesis, opinion, and provide feedback. Cool. So, turns out, and I'm condensing about 15 pages of ChatGPT into these points, there's something called hydrophobic triglycerides. Does anyone have any fucking clue what that is? Because I don't.
The hydro treats?
What?
Yeah,
Yeah, cool. I'm not talking about your ketamine name. Diketones, Y-lactones, long fatty acids. I thought that was a DJ name. Partition coefficient, that's definitely like on the 5th point of Jigger and Pony. Your partition coefficient limit. You know, organoleptic saturation, that's something you jerk off to. Like, I have no idea. My point is, I don't know what any of these things are. I'm not a scientist. However, as it turns out, and this is just copy-pasted, so deal with it. Click. This. This is the roast of Saline Savage.
Jameson roast with Danil.
Evening, where's Poddy when you need him? So AI versus fat washing, apparently, according to ChatGPT, only 40%, in a 40% ABV spirits. Turns out this is what it looks like. There's a polar and bipolar tail. I thought bipolar was a therapist thing. Attracted to oils and lipids, attracted to water. You mentioned something earlier, this makes sense. So in other words, your ethanol can absorb the fat, the water can't. Makes sense, oil and fat is a mix. But in that case, in, say, a 40% spirit, only 40% of that mixture can actually react to fat. The other 60% water cannot, right? I kind of knew this, but then confirmed it. Fat washing with any product that is less than 35% is redundant because by the time you dilute, the entire mixture changes, and that fat washing barely makes any difference. A final cocktail containing less than 50% of fat washed 40% spirit is also redundant. So if you're going to use a fat washed spirit in a highball, because the final solution of said highball, and it continues diluting depending on the ice, the amount of spirit is so low that breaks the emulsion, and that fat molecule ends up on the ice or on the glass or whatever. It's doing nothing to your mouth. So anything below 50%, the fatty molecules precipitate and bind with glass's ice surfaces because they break out of the solution. That's cool. That makes me look super smart if I did not tell you that I'm an idiot before, right? Because I could have sold this as a scientific seminar and went to Athens Bar Show. And then I asked it to explain this in a graph because I'm stupid. I can't make graphs. So there you go. After 5% of volume of your 40% spirits, you're basically redundant. 30% waste of time. In other words, so in other words, now we know from a scientific viewpoint that essentially speaking, 7.5% is like the best ratio of fat to 40% spirits. In other words, now you have a scientific reasoning for how much fat you should use because only X amount of the fat can bind with the alcohol. And what I did text Remy was I tested this in the real world because we have to, trial what AI does. And every single one of my experiments confirmed this. It worked, right? I am, again, so dummy. Turns out, graphs, triglycerides and ketones, heads, shoulders, knees and toes. And suddenly, I now know that every bar owner here or bar operator here who's been doing wah-wah-wee-wah, or 30%, you now have a scientific reasoning to use X amount, so you're saving money, right? You're being more efficient. It all makes sense. So, you get where I'm going with this? Why am I Australian? Right? This is where AI is amazing. This is where AI is a tool. It can help you. And this is why, because you're not allowed to use AI in your company. You're not allowed to use AI in your company. I'm not going to just, keep using 30%. Love your fat washing. So that leads into our first drink, right? The Angel Face. Dry gin, apricot brandy, Calvados, equal parts. All I've done is use a technique that involves fat washing at 7.5%. So you can bring out the fat. It is a technique that involves butter, your favorite thing, my favorite thing. It is a brown butter, Buenos Aires, that we have infused with charcoal by burning the charcoal, putting the butter, and then filtering that. So we've kept exactly the same specs. However, how have we played with the drink? In that, even though the drink is dry, there's now brown butter fatty molecules, and we added to the aroma of a campfire. Bring out the smoke. So Angel Face, because we're using 3 cocktails, same exact specs, equal parts. The only difference is we've fat washed the gin with a. Let's try. So you should just put it in your mouth. Put it in your mouth. So we've not really affected any of the actual specs. We've only played with the aroma and kind of the texture because of the brown butter. The brown butter itself, I have a whole post I've done on this. It's a technique from India. You take charcoal with no chemicals. You make it red hot. You throw it into clarified butter, or in this case, brown butter. You close the lid. It infuses with the favorites. It tastes and kind of smells like a campfire, and you only filter it. So I believe one of the futures kind of enfleurage, which is a perfume technique, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, put it. You like it? I don't know.
So that's 5% butter.
So this is quite sweet now because but events. 15% dilution, exactly the same specs. The only difference is I used apricot brandy bitter truth, and only the gin is fat washed, as opposed to the whole mixture, and it's 7.5% because that's like the optimal ratio of brown butter infused with this charcoal, so it has a smoky smoky-esque aftertaste. But it's using a drink from the past, using specs of the past, and then using techniques that I believe are going to become more frequent in bars in the future. And here you go, using the techniques you talked about in the present. Yeah, is that okay? Yeah, you're delicious. 0 saline. Oh shit. Yeah, okay. So beyond the bar. Okay, so that's cocktails. Good. Beyond the bar. I'm on my second point. AR, VR, tech. Boom. Alcohol. Does it taste smoky? Does it taste buttery? Does it taste kind of sweet, even though the sugar hasn't changed? And we spoke about the cocktail being quite dry. Booyakasha. The jungle is massive. So, take beyond the bar. While we can use AI in the bar with cocktail research and all that stuff I spoke about, there's a lot of people who are constantly using things like AR and VR currently, and I believe will do so more in the future, using AR and VR, augmented reality, virtual reality. About 10 years ago, City Social in London under Jamie Jones did the first ever real augmented reality menu, where essentially all the things that you might know about a cocktail using an app came to life. This is Van Gogh, it's Dia de los Muertos, right?
My name's Jamie Jones. I'm the Group Executive Bar Manager.
Yeah, but he talks about...
Company.
No, because you go... Because
Organization.
No! He talks about a competitor product, so we can't look at the rest of that video. The point is, augmented reality, now you're seeing more and more of it using different apps on Instagram, and more so when you're trying to, you said that you only have 15 people who are able to talk to the guest and create a storytelling through an app. Suddenly, on the table, the whole world goes on fire, goes alive. And then you can create the storytelling visually in the moment through the phone. Yes, it's arguable that is not necessarily the best way to do it. However, if you're trying to look for a universal language to communicate with your guests, maybe there it's coming alive on their phone is now the new universal language you can do that with colors and shapes and no words. Take beyond the bar design. Do you know that everyone who has an iPhone, whatever this is, since 2023, every single iPhone and every single iPad has been with a LiDAR sensor. If you know what a LiDAR sensor is, you can basically scan this room using a special laser on your phone and create a 3D projection of this room. I have a friend who's designed 5 bars and restaurants in Perth, Australia. A friend is a long shot. But you can scan a room. You can. There's a free app called SketchUp. You can throw it in there. You can literally, before you've spent all this money in designing a bar, you can walk around your possibly designed bar in real time in the exact room and look at where everything is so you can move things around. You no longer have to be qualified to work with architects to see how it feels. You know how a bar should feel. You know how a bar station should be. You can feel these instinctively, intuitively, English. But nowadays, is it going to play? Play. So this is an iPad 2023 iPad. We're in 2025. You've all got it. You can scan the room. You can make it look. You can then get an Oculus for $300. What's more expensive? A 50, 60, 100, 200, 750 gram bar, Claudia? Or a $300 US Oculus and an iPhone that you already have in your pocket, right? That's me stopping the porn. Behind bars in Norway, I'm never going to get invited again. Tony, I love you. Behind bars in Norway, the most overpriced bar station designer in the world. I did an event with them where we hooked up an Oculus and allowed bartenders to walk around and look at a station in real time on the other side of the world. Alex Ruiz actually guided them through it. So in other words, all these technologies that are available in your pocket are going to allow you to facilitate things easier, from bar design to venue design to the way things look, because then you can really feel them. This is happening right now, and this is why they're leading in their respective fields. So there's many ways you can utilize this when you're creating new concepts, and more so, right? I'm 3 minutes left. Here we go. Crypto. You love this. I hate this. Crypto's for dicks. I'm joking. Crypto. Just take a photo of that. I don't want to talk about it. I hate it. Transaction, block, verification, hash, execution. What does it mean? It is essentially Bitcoin, Ethereum, all these other things. It exists on the internet. It's used for money laundering. But it does have certain uses that have already transpired into the real world. The point of this, but it's decentralized information, but it's confirmed by millions of users. There's a lot more to it. There's a million things to it. But where can this apply to the bar industry? There's a club in New York City, the Flyfish Club, where you can basically pay in said crypto, and or you can only be a member through crypto. Yes, it's basically a membership. However, because you're part of this exclusive community, and we know luxury loves to be exclusive, because you might have bought those Bitcoins way back when, you can buy everything there in Bitcoin and transactions. It's all about that experience of being part of something. People are tribalists. They love this stuff. But now there's a dive bar called Feeling Lucky that in, I think it's Williamsburg or Brooklyn, I don't remember, where essentially they've dived into that idea of like these old video games in the 90s, and yet everything's crypto related. And you have to buy these tokens in order to participate in the purchase of food and drink. But even more interesting, this is this one here, Block Bar. It's a authenticated blockchain NFT marketplace where you can buy spirits from spirits producers around the world and you get given a token. Where it's cool is that you could have 2,000 bottles in tokens that are confirmed by the producer. You said Jameson did one, didn't they? And Middleton, sorry. And so the bottle stays at the producer. You can get it any time by burning the token, but that means you don't have to have the physical bottle in your house. So you could trade these bottles and get a cut of the trades as it changes, but you don't have to physically authenticate the bottle in your house because the producer has it, right? So you could be a spirits collector without having the insurance issues of having a bottle, storing a bottle, XYZ, because the producer guarantees that bottle because you have the token. And more so, this is just me kind of going on a tangent because they all went over, so why do I have to be on time? Fuck your shower. If you're releasing a book in 2025, I guarantee you, because I speak multiple languages, that it's been pirated by a Russian Telegram channel, and it's translated within a week. I've downloaded it. And then I still support the originals by buying the book on Amazon. But the point is, if you are trying to create possibly training manuals that are specifically to your specific platform, you don't want them stolen. If you want to create a book and actually have your side quest and make money from it, maybe the authentication digitally has to come from something like a blockchain, which only one person can access specifically through an NFT or a digital code, will prevent piracy. It will not prevent piracy fully happening, but at least you can trace it and know who did the crime. Ironically, NFTs are used for crime. Yeah, cool. The circle of life. Cool. Okay, I'll be faster. Robotics and automation, scary as shit. Bar assist systems. These currently exist. You can buy a bartender in your house. You fill it with booze. You browse recipes. You click a button. You get a recipe. You drink it. You no longer need to know what the saline solution is. Yeah. Even scarier. A Serbian cafe has developed an AI that will analyze how long guests are sitting at tables and how much baristas are making coffees per hour. Authoritarian scariness, or your pay is getting docked because you're being lazy and the AI can prove it. And or we know how much our guests are spending per, like we don't need, because how much can we rely on human error of our bar managers logging times correctly and log information correctly when the AI can help us how long they stayed, what did they drink, right? To log into your systems of information. He's like, very good. I am Indra. I have a cat on my lap and I have systems. I don't know why you're an Eastern European or something. Tech is a tool, not a replacement. Tech is meant to help you. Here's a million other things that I thought of without using AI. From bartender training to social media to menu design to provenance tracking to ordering to P&L. It's already being used for all of this. There was a cafe that completely AI'd, not a cafe, a restaurant that completely AI'd its reservation process. They've cut down human error by 40%. Stock control, you'll love that. You could have made more money. Waste reduction. Sold too fast. Yeah, whatever. And so, I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Alcohol, mouthwash, cool, third drink. And I had no tangent from this to my third drink, which was about enzymes, because I believe we can biohack ingredients, whatever, Resident Evil. I like enzymes. Enzymes are great. I did a impulsive. The Cameron's Kick, our third cocktail, is a Scotch whiskey sour. Cameron's Kick, AI generated. We're using enzymes, something that I love. I think is going to become a part of the future of making drinks. We made an roasted almond orgeat and used enzymes to increase the yield by 30%, using pectinase and cellulase to break down the walls, creating a slurry. And then as a result, I'm creating a higher yield. Also, enzymes help me do this. Cocktails, bring it out. Chef's kiss. Grand finale, okay, because I have no time. Grand finale, VR, I can't see it. Person. We have created a special thing for you that you can use for the next 2 months. Take a photo of this, because I'm going to do a live demonstration in a moment. As you know, you all want to be like Remy Savage. You want to be like Saline Savage. You all want to get into the mind, ask him questions that he doesn't want to answer. This was created by Neat AI in USA. Can we put on our Remy chatbot with voice activation? Oh, no. No. It's going to be offensive. Oh, yeah.
Bonjour, Remy here.
Hello, Remy. How are you?
Hello, I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Always a pleasure to discuss the finer points of flavor and coherence. And yourself? Anything exciting happening in your world today?
Remy, I would like to open a bar in Ireland that's going to follow one of your philosophies or art movements. Can you help me here?
Ireland. A land rich in history and stories, a perfect canvas for a bar with a strong concept. I'd be delighted to help you brainstorm. To start, which of my philosophies or art movements are you most drawn to? Are you thinking of something like the Bauhaus, with its emphasis on form following function, or perhaps Art Nouveau, celebrating nature through technology, or maybe something else entirely? Also, what kind of experience do you want to create for your guests? The cozy neighborhood spot, a late night haunt, or something in between?
Okay, how about this? Let's just make it simple. Create me a drink with Jameson that matches an art movement from Ireland. That matches my philosophy.
A drink that embodies an Irish art movement and my philosophy, all with Jameson as the base. I like where you're going with this. To make sure I capture the essence of what you're looking for, could you tell me a bit more about your philosophy? What's most important to you when creating a drink or an experience?
All right, just shut up. Just do it. Make it Bauhaus. Make it Bauhaus, Remy. Just make it Bauhaus.
Chuckles. All right, I hear you loud and clear. Bauhaus it is. No need for extra words. Let's get straight to the point. Here's a Bauhaus-inspired Jameson cocktail designed for both function and flavor. The form follows function. This drink is all about stripping away the unnecessary and highlighting the core elements in a clear and elegant way. Ingredients: 60 milliliters Jameson Black Barrel, 20 milliliters dry vermouth, 5 milliliters saline solution 0.9%. Instructions: 1. Combine all ingredients in a mixing glass. 2. Add ice and stir until well chilled, about 18 to 20 seconds. 3. Strain into a chilled Nick and Nora glass. 4. No garnish. Why Bauhaus? Minimalism. Only 3 ingredients, each serving a distinct purpose. Functionality. The saline solution...
All right, shut up. I can't handle this. All right, so that's Remy Bot. You can talk to him. You can listen to him for the next 45 minutes. Tonight, when you don't know what to ask Remy, you can just do this. We can, because he's not going to answer your question because he's too busy being... A best friend. Shut up, Remy! Can we, this is not his seminar, it's my seminar. Can we move back to the presentation? This is...
Apologies.
There you go.
I apologize. No.
Take a photo of this. Unfortunately, he does not have voice access because it's very expensive. So this is Andreas. He developed this specifically for Jameson hosts. It's available for the next 2 months. This is your personal pocket Remy. That's not what you think it is. It's developed by Neat AI in New York City, and it's been done. Remy's been so kind to us to let us access to his drinks library across all 3 major bars that have this AI has analyzed all the drinks recipes. It's analyzed a lot of Remy's articles and how he talks and his presentations. So it should be as best as we can emulate Remy. This also was done under a budget called free. So if it breaks, I don't give a shit. This is Remy Bots. My name is Dan. The future is great. And before we finish, I want to say something which is like, since you all did like a little nice finishing monologue, I have a very, very like chaotic nature, as you can tell. Honestly, like everyone in this room who is sitting there and thinking about, oh, this person is this person is that, they have this name, they have this award, they're at this age, they've done X amount of experience, fuck them all. I'm sorry, like, everyone has a survivor bias and a narrative fallacy in that they believe that the path they have taken is the path that can be replicated, put into a course, and sold or industrialized. Stop listening to them. Just go on and do it. I'm sorry, it's like a Nike thing. What worked for someone else at some other time might not work for you in your conditions. But please do something instead of sitting around and doing nothing. I do believe the future is in the hands of the next generation, and I believe that whilst we can try and give you our advice and guide you, it is up to you to go and make it happen. And stop listening to us sometimes and follow your guts and make mistakes, because that is the experience that's going to separate you from whatever era of tech I'm promoting today. So shut up, go have a shower, let's have a drink. Thank you.